Hello, I'm Dwight Norris of fishingatwork.com, and today we're going to be talking about Zoom trick worms. Now, you might be wondering what the trick is to a Zoom trick worm, and if you've been around for a while, this is nothing new. This is a very old worm type and has become very popular and has become a mainstay in pretty much everybody's tackle box. And if you don't have a Zoom trick worm in your tackle box, I truly believe you should go out to the store or go online and get one immediately because it can really diversify what you do, and also it's very good at tricking fish. So if you're looking to use a worm or wondering what kind of worm type to use, I would start here, the Zoom trick worm. Now, what exactly is the trick? The old name for the original, which was a 6.5 Zoom trick worm, was that it floated, but that's not really what happened or what happens. It's really a worm that's more or less like my Rapula countdown minnow. It slowly descends through the water, not unlike a worm. So if you have a worm, take it, throw it in the water, and watch it slowly sink. And it wiggles, it shakes, it has like a smooth like transition when it goes around and around. And fish actually look for that. They've seen worms um, come to the surface during a rainstorm. They they look for somewhere to go. They go onto hard surfaces and they get washed out. They go into the water and they see them fall. And precisely, bugs fall this way as well, and this is the same technique that you see in fly fishing, but people don't talk about it this way. So when you're using a Zoom trick worm, you should make sure you allow it to fall a little bit when it first hits the water. And this is usually done weightless. You don't want a Texas rig on there unless you're trying a different style of presentation, but you should start off with the weightless way of doing it. And when this happens, the worm will hit the water, it'll slowly bend just a little bit and fall and descend. A very natural thing. And that's exactly what the type of presentation you want to give to the fish you're trying to catch, which is most likely a small or largemouth bass. You can catch other things as well, but presumably this is what you're going after if you're using a zoom worm. So when it hits the water, you let it descend for a second or two, depending on the water depth, and you give it a little twitch, and then it'll dart left, it'll dart right, and just kind of gives it the fish a reason to bite, or like a reaction bite, and those bites are really good because the fish isn't thinking; it's it's using its instincts, and that's usually when it swallows it. It's not tasting it, nibbling, figuring out if it's real or not. You don't want the fish to think. You want the fish to react. You know, like when you see those baby back ribs in a grill, you just want to attack them and just go like dinosaur on them. But that's what you're looking for. Let's see else what I wanted to say about that particular technique. It's also good, and more importantly, if you watch my other video about the Berkeley power worm, the rigging style where you use an off shank hook, it goes through, and then when the hook comes out, it comes out of the worm, you prick it right under the surface here so that it gives it a little bit of being, why am I forgetting the word? Weedless, or like a jig has a brush over it, over the hook, so that you can throw it into the under logs and trees and docks and stuff, which is exactly what you want to do with this lure. Except when you do it, it's not going to plonk, go straight to the bottom, and then you hope one of the bass see it, or see it bouncing along the bottom and is looking down at it, wondering what it is. It's going to see something splash, and then you see a worm just drop on it like this, like, oh, it's a worm. And going to get a reaction bite. It's going to suck that puppy in, and then whoop, you got him. So that's one of the main reasons when this worm came out, it was revolutionary because of its slow sinking style. And honestly, it's fantastic. I'm not sure Actually, no, that's not true. I used to use them in the past, but I didn't really realize why. I used to use Texas style rigs on it, and actually allowed the end of it to float up, which a lot of worms do, but this one did a lot better. So I was probably not using it well because I was inexperienced and I was young. But you know, that's what kids do. Um, so there are a variety of ways you can actually use it other than weightless as well. One of them is the Carolina rig, and another is the shaky head jigs, which have gotten really popular, and that's probably one of the #1 ways other than weightless that you should present the lure to the fish. There's also the wacky rig where you just hook it in the middle and you give it jerks and let it go. And when you jerk it, you have it weightless per se. It's like there's slack line when you hook it sideways. You wait till there's slack and you just reel in. You kind of jerk the slack and reel it in and let the slack remain. So you don't actually feel when the fish is on there. Maybe a little bit when you jerk it, you'll feel the fish. But generally, you'll see your slack line disappear without you doing anything, and that's when you know a fish has it. It's it's more of a finesse kind of thing, and I think there might even be a zoom finesse worm, but or like a swim bait kind of thing. But that's beside the fact. I'm not really into the wacky rig. It works, you know, but I like not getting stuck on trees and logs. And I don't fish much open water right now until I get that Sevlar / Coleman Colorado two-person inflatable kayak, which I'll be showing to you when I buy it. Right now it retails for about $350. It has double walls, it has the Boston valve, and it's great. So I've made the decision to buy it, even on the fact that I'm also looking to buy a brand new 14-foot porta boat, which I can take on the ocean and then catch a whole variety of different fish, but not during work, you know, not during lunch, but before and after work, it's a possibility. Oh yes, and I also forgot about the Texas rig, which is the way I used to use it. I think we all know about the Texas style bullet weights and how you're supposed to present them and how it's supposed to work. I well, I would just say use a lighter bullet weight, um, below 1/8 of an ounce, 1/8 or below. Don't go any heavier than that. Otherwise, you're probably in a situation that you might want to use something else. So let's say you're in a fast-moving current in the river, like the Charles River, you're in the middle, and you're trying to hit deep water holes and whatever kind of man-made brush that's 20 plus feet down, and there's bass that's sitting on it because it's a hot summer day, and they just can't stay in the shallows anymore because of the oxygen depletion that's happening, and whatever else is going on. As you see right now, we have a huge minnow influx, and also there's cyanobacteria blooms everywhere, so that's sucking up oxygen as well and becoming toxic. So it seems like the fish have just moved out to the middle, out of my shoreline reach. And a tactic like using a Carolina rig out there, which is having a weight that goes to a stopper, like a swivel. You can have a two-way swivel, and you have the egg sinker going to it, and it hits the two-way swivel, and then you have about whatever length you want the worm to float above the bottom. It could be 1, it could be 2 feet. It really depends on where you are and what you're trying to work around. So if it's really deep water and you manage to have a sonar, or that the fish are about 2 to 3 feet above the bottom, you want to make your line behind the two-way swivel at least 2 feet. So then the fish can see it, and they'll look down and they'll see that worm floating below them or coming toward them in the distance, and they can get to it. If it was only like a foot or less, it'll be on the very bottom, and maybe a flounder would see it or a catfish, and that's not what you're trying to catch. You're trying to catch the suspended fish. So to get it down there, you need the Carolina rig to get it down there, and then you need the actual features of the zoom trick worm to help it suspend relatively weightless above the bottom, and then pull it that way. That's Carolina rig is well known. It works extremely well over open water where there's deep water haunts and trees or man-made structures below the surface in the middle of the water where nobody would even know unless they had a radar or they know a guy who catches a lot of fish on their water hole. And or maybe they've just experimented by fishing the whole lake, and I've done that before. It takes a long time, but I recommend just getting a radar, like a ray marine, a hummingbird. There's a whole variety of kinds. They all do a similar thing, and you can, I think they all allow you to map an area and then have it on the system so you can mark it and then come back to that exact spot and do it all over again and catch probably the same fish. So that's a good thing. So I actually bought some online, and they were stated as they're new, but they've been sitting in somebody's garage for a long time, which I don't really care about. You know, it still works. They're still sealed, and they still feel good. So the one Zoom trickworm color I like the most, or I see promoted a lot, is the black. Why? Really haven't discovered why, but people are really into the black worms. It's probably more of a shallow water thing, and it might just look more realistic to the fish, or it might even mimic something else like an eel, like a baby eel. But highly recommended. Black Zoom trickworm. Now the other kind is popular is the pumpkin seed. I think more specifically it's the green pumpkin seed, but I got a watermelon seed, which is very similar, and this looks very much so like a worm. It's green, it has the ribs, all of the above that you need to happen. See, trickworm, watermelon seed, the original, as if there's really a new one. They haven't really changed. And I also have this came part of a bundle, so I didn't have a choice, but I got the red one as well. Watermelon in red, and you know, add some sparkles. And the reason to have a brighter worm would be, why am I blanking on this? It's more of it's shallow water, it's hot, you're fishing it under like docks in places that are a little dark, you know, under overhanging trees, inside of fallen trees and a brush, and the brightness and the sparkles and all that stuff kind of helps the reaction bite that you get from a largemouth or smallmouth bass, and that's what you want. You want them not to think about it, you want them to bite, you want them to get on the hook, and you want to take a picture once you've caught your big boy. So these are the Zoom trickworms that I've bought, and I'm going to be trying them out in the next couple of days. Tomorrow I have a day off, hanging out with the kids, so I won't really get any fishing in. I'll think about it though. I'll think about it, but it may or may not happen. I want to focus more on, you know, being with family, and if you have a family, you should spend some time with them, and if you can, go fishing with them. I will try my best to do that. I should plan it now and make it happen, and that's something you can learn to do if you get the 10-step process to go fishing at work. And it's also a good source if you want to plan going fishing anywhere and anytime that you seem time deficient, or it seems too hard, or you don't know about where or how to fish, or you don't have a plan or a schedule. It has all these things within it, and it shows you exactly what you need to do. And now I'm working on a follow-up to the email subscription that you'll be signing up to get that, so that you can get all that information on video. So if you want to read, it's there in the PDF format. I'll have a video series that will come daily to show you that same information, and you can watch it over and over again as much as you like. And I might even make a podcast for it too later on, but right now I'm going to focus on the video. So if you've been thinking about getting a Zoom trickworm and you don't really know why, please rewind, listen to all the stuff I said about why it's good, You can even go to other sites and you'll see and probably read similar things. It's not a new thing. It works. Everybody knows it works. They always have it on their boats when they go out to tournaments. When regular bass fishermen go out, they definitely have a Zoom trick worm on there somewhere. When nothing else works, they're going to put that Zoom trick worm on there weightless or with a shaky head, and they're going to give it a whirl, and most likely something's going to bite. So I'm going to be doing that too, and you'll see that in an upcoming video. So please, when you get the chance, go to the website, look at all the great information, go to YouTube, watch the videos, subscribe, sign up to get the 10-step process, go fishing at work, and then after you've done all that, or even before, go fishing.